Hello there guys, welcome to another of my videos. On this video I am going to be giving you my starting 11 prediction for our game against Sevilla tomorrow in the Europa League semi-final. Now I do presume that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to make a few changes from our 1-0 win against Copenhagen recently in the quarter-final. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer obviously isn't prepared to take any risks in this game against Sevilla, so he will go with his strongest 11. Solskjaer knows how important the Europa League is to Manchester United, and we are now only 2 games away from winning the Europa League. So anyway, let's get on with it. So Solskjaer has got a decision to make on who he's going to go with in goal. Is he going to stick with Sergio Romero, or is he going to decide to go with David De Gea? Now, personally speaking, I think he's going to stick with Sergio Romero because obviously Sergio Romero has played all our League Cup games this season, and he's also played all our FA Cup games prior to the semi-final. Now, obviously, this is Sergio Romero's endured 5 years with Manchester United. Obviously, we did get him on the free from San Pandora back in 2015. And Romero's just got under a year left on his Manchester United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. So I think he'll go with Romero in goal. Now, obviously, David De Gea, he's been our number 1 goalkeeper for several years. Now, obviously, this has been David De Gea's 9th season at Manchester United. He is approaching his 10th year at the football club. And like I've said to you before, David De Gea's had 7 good years out of the 9 years he's been at Manchester United. Because I think in the last couple of years, he has been a liability, reflects on the calamitous mistakes he has made. David De Gea has made 404 appearances for Man United in all competitions and around 300 odd appearances in the Premier League. There's a few Manchester United fans that have said, we should sell David De Gea in this summer transfer window. Obviously, if he was to sell him, I think, would get around £60 million for him. So we'd be still making a big profit because obviously, we paid just over £18 million to him from Atletico Madrid back in 2011. And when David De Gea does leave Manchester United, I think he will go back to Spain. Main explanations: he was born in Spain, relatives are from Spain, girlfriend's from Spain, plus he began his footballing career in Spain. And back in 2015, he was close to joining Real Madrid, but due to a fax machine, the deal never materialised. Obviously, last September, David De Gea signed a 4-year deal with the football club worth £375,000 a week. But Solskjaer, was saying prior to the game against Copenhagen that, he's facing a goalkeeping dilemma. And he said it will be extremely difficult for us to keep De Gea, Romero and Henderson all at the football club for next season. Personally speaking, I think Solskjaer needs to put Dean Henderson as our number 1 for next season. Dean Henderson has basically said he will only stay at Manchester United if he is assured to be our number 1. I think he'll be reliable now to become our number 1 because Dean Henderson is experienced. Obviously, he endured 2 successful loans with Sheffield United. He did recently say that we'd offered Dean Henderson a deal worth around £60,000 a week. He said as well that, Solskjaer said, that Dean Henderson is not yet ready to become Manchester United's number 1 goalkeeper and that. So I don't know, to be honest with you, what he is going to do. But yeah, I think he's going to go with Romero in goal. At right back, I think he's going to go with Wan-Bissaka. Because obviously Wan-Bissaka is our first choice right back. I think his defensive contribution's been very, very good as Wan-Bissaka's, but we need to see more of the attacking side of his game. Because that's obviously, what's letting him down. I still think he's enjoyed a very, very good season for Man United. Obviously, this was his first season at the football club. Obviously, we got Wan-Bissaka in a deal worth £50 million from Crystal Palace last summer. But towards the end of the Premier League season, he did look a bit fatigued, did Wan-Bissaka. We've obviously now got other options at right back who we could select. We've got Fossa Mensah. He obviously played a couple of our league games towards the end of the season. Obviously, played in the Crystal Palace game. That was his first appearance for Man United in over 3 years. Obviously played a part in the West Ham game. Obviously, we've got Ethan Laird, who's another option at right back. He recently got promoted into the senior squad, and we've also got Diego Dalot. I don't think Diego Dalot, though, will be involved. Centre halves, I think we're going to go with Victor Lindelof and Harry Maguire. Obviously, Victor Lindelof hasn't been getting starts recently, but I think in this one he will be starting. Now, I think Victor Lindelof's had an okay season with Man United. He has been up and down. He's had some good games and he's also had some bad games. In the good games, he's looked very, very effective from the back. He's looked good in the air. He's got in very, very good positions. But in his bad games, he's just looked far too exposed at the back and he's also taken far too many touches. Victor Lindelof has endured 3 years with Manchester United. Obviously, we got him from Benfica back in 2017 for £30 million under the Jose Mourinho era. So, yeah, I think Lindelof will come in for Eric Bay. Harry Maguire, he's one of our 2 players that has started our last 3 games. I think there is still aspects of Harry Maguire's game that I've got to improve because he's been up and down throughout the course of this season. A lot of Manchester United fans don't think Harry Maguire is good enough to captain the team. We got Harry Maguire in a deal with £80 million last summer from Leicester. So he is the most expensive centre-half in the world and the second most expensive signing at the football club. At left-back, I think we are going to go with Brandon Williams. Obviously, Luke Shaw is not available for selection because Luke Shaw is out with an ankle injury. And to be honest with you, Williams has done very, very well for Manchester United throughout the course of this season. Don't forget we had the good news recently that Brandon Williams had signed a 4-year deal with the club to keep him under contract on Man United until 2024, and he's also an option of a further year. Brandon Williams just wants to keep improving when he gets his chances, and he does want to keep fit, like he said before. Brandon Williams did make his debut in our game against Rochdale in the EFL Cup earlier on in the season, and he made his first league start against Brighton. I think that Luke Shaw will probably remain our first choice left back for next season because obviously Luke Shaw is more experienced than Brandon Williams, but my only element of concern about Luke Shaw is that, he is injury prone. That is my only element of concern. But, Luke Shaw's endured, 6 years at the club. We did get him from Southampton back in 2014 for around £30 million. In the midfield, I think we are going to go with Paul Pogba and Nemanja Matic. There's been stories coming out regarding Paul Pogba recently. And I think the Paul Pogba transfer saga does continue to persist because he's been saying that Juventus are now willing to offer Paulo Dybala in a swap deal for Paul Pogba. Juventus have just recently appointed Andrea Pirlo as their new manager following the sacking of Maurizio Sarri. But I think probably Paul Pogba will end up staying at Manchester United. I think contract talks between Manchester United and Paul Pogba are expected to happen after the Europa League. It did obviously say a couple of weeks before the season finished that Paul Pogba was close to signing a 5-year deal with Man United, and obviously Fabrizio Romano, who's a very reliable Italian journalist, he came out and said that Pogba wants to stay at Man United, he's happy at the club, and he said we will enter negotiations with his agent Mini Raiola over getting him a new contract at the club. As it stands at the moment, Pogba's just got under a year left on his Man United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. As it stands at the moment, Pogba's our most expensive signing because we did pay £89 million for him, but this time last year it was looking very, very imminent that he was going to be leaving the club. Towards the end of the Premier League season, Pogba did well, put some good performances out. But for the vast majority of the Premier League season, he was out with that ankle injury, don't forget. And he has sustained quite a few injuries as a Man United player, as Paul Pogba. And I thought Paul Pogba had a very, very good game against Copenhagen recently. Nemanja Matic, he hasn't obviously been getting a lot of starts recently. Obviously, he's been coming off the bench. Obviously, towards the end of the Premier League season, Matic was getting a lot of starts. So he was getting there ahead of the likes of Fred and McTominay. But for the vast majority of the Premier League season, Fred and McTominay were getting there ahead of Matic. It wasn't so long ago that Matic had signed a 3-year deal with Man United. And I think he deserved the new contract, reflecting on his good run of performances. Matic has endured 3 years with the football club. We did get him from Chelsea back in 2017. We got him in a deal worth around £40 million. But a lot of aspects of Matic's game have really, really improved. In the number 10, I think we are going to go with Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes was the one that scored the penalty in our game against Copenhagen recently in extra time. Bruno Fernandes has definitely made a difference in the team since his arrival from Sporting Lisbon back in January. He really, really has. Obviously, I think he scored like 11 goals for Man United in all competitions since his arrival. Don't forget he's won Premier League Player of the Month 3 times, reflects on his good run of performances. But towards the end of the Premier League season, did look a bit off the pace, lacked that composure, which is unusual of him. I don't think he was obviously great against Copenhagen, despite him scoring and hitting the crossbar. But yeah, Bruno Fernandes is definitely the foreseeable future for Man United. When we did sign him in January, I think he signed a 5.5-year deal at the football club. I think on the left-hand side, we will go with Marcus Rashford. Now, definitely Rashford has got to put a good performance out tomorrow. He really, really has, because he weren't too good against Copenhagen. Analysing him throughout the course of the season, I don't think Rashford has been at his best. Obviously, weren't that good at the start of the season. Then, obviously, got that back injury, and he was out for a few months with that. But he did okay towards the end of the Premier League season. Obviously, Rashford's been with the club for several years. He's been a United player since the age of 7, and he's been in our senior squad since 2016, and since then has become an integral part of our team. But throughout the course of this season, Marcus Rashford has been playing on that left-hand side. I think on the right-hand side, we will go with Mason Greenwood. Again, I think Mason Greenwood's enjoyed a very, very good season for Manchester United. It was obviously his first full season in the senior squad. Don't forget he had that ankle injury towards the end of the Premier League season. But he has looked very, very effective on that right-hand side as Greenwood. But I can see him, starting this game. And up top, I think we are going to go with Anthony Martial. Anthony Martial, has enjoyed a superb season for Manchester United. I think Anthony Martial scored 23 goals in all competitions this season. Throughout the course of this season, Anthony Martial's been playing in that number 9 role, so he has been playing centrally. But he looks very effective in that position, even though it isn't his predominant position, Anthony Martial's. Martial was the one that actually won the penalty against Copenhagen. Also had some very, very good chances, should have got his name on the score sheet against Copenhagen. Martial's enjoyed 2 good seasons out of the 5 years he's been with us. He's done well this season under Solskjaer and did well in his debut season under the Louis van Gaal era. We got Martial for around 36 million from Monaco. So that is the 11 I think Manchester United are going to go with against Sevilla. Obviously, Solskjaer, I think, has done his press conference as well, so I will be giving you my reaction to his press conference on my next video. But obviously, this is our second European semi-final since Alex Ferguson's retirement, and it is our third semi-final this season. Because obviously, we progressed to the EFL Cup semi-final, and we also progressed to the FA Cup semi-final and that. Now, obviously, Solskjaer has confirmed his plans to ensure that we do progress to the Europa League final. He has said our players must use her from our other two semi-final defeats. But, Sevilla is going to be an extremely difficult game because, like I've mentioned before, Sevilla, are a very, very good team. They've also, got some very, very good players. Don't forget, Sevilla are the record holders of the Europa League because they have won it 5 times. The most recently won it back in 2016. I think they beaten Liverpool in the final. And they recently beaten Wolves in the quarterfinals by 1-0. And the last time, we did play Sevilla was back in the knockout stages in the Champions League in 2018. Sevilla did beat us by 2-1. So this, is going to be an extremely difficult game. Sevilla, by the way, have not lost since early February, so they are in a good vein of form. Obviously, they did finish 4th in the La Liga this season. And I think that Sevilla are going to go with a similar team tomorrow as they did do against Wolves. They are going to play the likes of Jesus Navas. They are going to play Suso and Fernando and all of that. They've also got that Ever Banega of Sevilla. But actually, Man United are the favourites to win the Europa League. Now, I've given you the main explanations why I want Manchester United to win the Europa League, because obviously, if we win it, it will be our first trophy under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. It will end our trophy drought because we haven't won a trophy for over 3 years. And it will give us more confidence. It will put confidence into the team and that. And plus, it will be our second Europa League because we obviously we've won one at the moment. And that came under Jose Mourinho back in 2017. We beat an Ajax in the final by 2-0. But Solskjaer did say winning the Europa League as Man United manager would be one of his greatest achievements. So what he means is, it would surpass 1999 and all of that. But we progressed to the semi-finals of the Europa League by obviously, beating Copenhagen in the quarter-final, beating Lask in the last 16, and we beat Club Brugge in the round of 32. So there you go. But I think, so far this season, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has exceeded expectations at Manchester United. Obviously, got qualification for the Champions League. And I did say, didn't I, how important Champions League qualification was for our players, attracting players, and for the financial structure. Also, too, we finished 3rd, and that was also a fantastic achievement. And like I said, we have progressed to 3 semi-finals, but Solskjaer did say that semi-finals are not good enough. But he's done well in his first full season at the football club. Obviously, next season is definitely the big test for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because next season, he will have bigger expectations to exceed. Our expectations next season will be to challenge for the Premier League title because obviously, we haven't won the Premier League since 2013 and we have been inconsistent for the last 7 years, but we want to be up there competing with the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool and all of that. Like I said, we've got 3 injuries. Luke Shaw is out with an ankle injury. Alex Tuanzebe is out, and so too is Phil Jones. Not Fosu Mensah, Phil Jones. So obviously none of them will be playing any part of this game. But I think, Man United will do good recruitment in this summer transfer window. Obviously, Solskjaer's outlined his transfer plans. He's instructed our board to go and get his preferred targets. Solskjaer has said he wants Man United to make at least 3 signings in this summer transfer window because obviously, he does want to overhaul the Manchester United squad. And I think Ed Woodward has said he wants Man United to make around 3 or 4 signings in this summer transfer window. And obviously, there's still deficiencies in the squad that do need to be addressed. We have improved in certain areas, since Solskjaer got recommended into the club. But there is so many players on our agenda. Obviously, on my recent video, I give you the breaking news on Filip Stevanovic from Partizan Belgrade. The story's coming out saying that Manchester United are set to sign Filip Stevanovic from Partizan Belgrade. He said, we have agreed to get him for around 12 million euros. But he's going to remain at Partizan Belgrade on loan for next season. So he'll be officially joining Man United in the summer of 2021. So yeah, he is our first signing in this summer transfer window. This got confirmed, by the way, from Fabrizio Romano, and it also, these stories were stemming from Republica. Filip Stevanovic has been at Partizan Belgrade for several years. He joined their youth system in 2011 at just the age of 9. Obviously, made his first team debut in 2018, became their third youngest debut, became Partizan Belgrade's third youngest debutant. And I think since he broke into Partizan Belgrade senior squad, hasn't he played around 30 odd games for them? He's got a contract with them, I think, till 2022, as the player. I think a few other clubs as well have expressed their interest in him. Don't know much really about him. I know that he's 17, very young, predominantly a left winger. Got good physical attributes as well. Good on the ball. His footwork's good, so he's good with both feet. Can also score goals. Can create chances. So yeah, our first signing in this summer transfer window. Obviously, you know the news regarding Jadon Sancho. A lot of Manchester United fans now believe that Jadon Sancho to Manchester United is off. He recently said that Barcelona and Real Madrid have entered the race for Jadon Sancho, and they could go in for him next year if we fail to sign him in this summer transfer window. He says Jadon Sancho could still force a move to Man United if we put an offer in to Borussia Dortmund. But I think now Sancho's going to be staying at Dortmund. Obviously, you've had Borussia Dortmund's CEO that has said Sancho is now staying and the decision is final. And he recently revealed that Sancho signed a new contract secretly, and it's been extended till 2023. Obviously, Borussia Dortmund's sporting director said that Jadon Sancho is staying at Borussia Dortmund. The sporting directors also said it. So I'm not going to fully disregard Sancho coming to Man United, but I think it's unlikely that we're going to get him. Obviously, Dortmund's valuation is 108, 109 million pounds, and we are not willing to pay what Borussia Dortmund are demanding. James Cooper tends to be close to United. He gave us a positive update on Sancho yesterday, saying that Man United don't miss out on players that they intend to sign, and he still believes Sancho wants to come. Fabrizio Romano still believes the Sancho deal is on. Romano said the other week that, Sancho agreed personal terms with Man United, and he said that Sancho was set to sign a 5-year deal with the football club worth around £250,000 a week. But we've obviously missed out on the deadline to sign him because Dortmund said we had until the 10th of August to sign the player. We've obviously, been looking at alternatives to Jadon Sancho as well, because these cheaper solutions in him. You already know the news regarding Jack Grealish from Aston Villa. Villa obviously do want £80 million for him. Obviously, the news on Donny van de Beek. Give you the news on him yesterday. There's obviously been a few centre halves on our agenda and all of that. But I think we have got around 140 million to spend in this summer transfer window. So that should get us a couple of signings. Obviously, we can't only focus on the incomings in this summer transfer window. We've also got to focus on the outgoings, because we are planning a clear out in this summer transfer window, like you updated you earlier. The players I expect to leave is, Jesse Lingard, Andres Pereira. You already know the news regarding him. Chris Smalling, I think we'll try and get rid of him. Rojo, try and get rid of him. Phil Jones, try and get rid of him. Diego Dalot, try and get rid of him. Because quite frankly, he's still deadwood at the football club. But to be fair, Solskjaer has got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended in to Manchester United. But Solskjaer's been at Manchester United now over a year and a half. And I have taken positives from his tenure so far. Like I said, our recruitment's really, really improved under him. You know, we've obviously, made, what is it now, 5 permanent signings since he came in. And Solskjaer has spent over £200 million at the club. We have been criticised for several years, reflecting how poor our recruitment policy's been. I think, Solskjaer's promoted the youth well. Our record against the top 6 sides throughout the course of this season were very, very good. I think, there's players that have definitely improved. Don't get me wrong, there's still improvements needed at Manchester United. There's still certain players that have got to step up to the plate. I think Solskjaer's decision making, has also got to improve. But I have actually, seen an upturn in form since January. Because we haven't lost in the league since Burnley. We are unbeaten in our last 14 Premier League games. Don't forget as well, went on the 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions until obviously Chelsea beating us in the FA Cup semi-finals. Good news is as well, we have extended a lot of players' contracts since Solskjaer got recommended into the club. I think we've still got around 7 or 8 players' contracts that are due to expire next year. So we have got to make a decision on those players. And that. But yeah. And like I said, Solskjaer needs more time at Manchester United. I don't know if he's the foreseeable future. Obviously, time will tell, won't it? Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager since the Ferguson era. Obviously, in the last 7 years, we've had different managers with different philosophies. We have spent close to the £1 billion range on players, and we've recruited over 30-odd players in since the Alex Ferguson era. And, there's been a lot of problems at the football club for several years. Not only with the managers we've had, we've had a lot of problems with the club's ownership, the Glazers, had a lot of problems with Ed Woodward. Also had a lot of problems with the club's board. Obviously, since the Jose Mourinho era, we have been in the process of trying to get a new director of footballing, to join Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's structure and all of that. But we obviously haven't got one in as yet. But there you go. I think Solskjaer's got just under 2 years left on his Man United contract. He definitely will see out his contract, but Solskjaer's now got that managerial experience behind him. Obviously, Man United is the 3rd club in his managerial career and that. He's going to loan some players out as well this summer, so they can obviously get regular first-team football. I think he's going to loan the likes of Tahith Chong out, Dylan Levitt, James Garner. I think, they're definitely all going to be loaned out, But yeah, so that's everything to update you today, guys. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.